Welcome back to a Throwback Friday special episode with your boy F and Bob, the host. Gotta put my own nameplate up today. There it is. It looks pretty though, don't it? I do love the new design. But welcome back to Throwback Friday. For nonsense, me, host, you, audience. I think that's everything covered. How's it going? How was your week? Obviously, I'm still slightly sick. But I'm going to punch through this fucking episode because you requested it and you deserve it. And I fucking regret saying that I do 3 episodes a week. Anyway, hopefully your fucking week is going by so much better than mine. I can't tell. Why does that shit look weird? I don't know. I'm running a show from the other side again. It looks weird. Either way, yeah, how was your week going? Mine was, as you can tell, slightly shitty because I'm still not breathing properly. So fuck you to the people who still catch colds. I understand COVID's a thing and all of that shit, but y'all motherfuckers still gotta act right with colds. Like, catching colds is still a thing. And apparently masks don't do shit for colds. I've been out of work for at least 2 damn days, warming up a third. And this is the most I've been able to do so far. So it is what it is. But thanks to Liquid Death for helping me stay hydrated through the entire healing process of getting through your sickness. So bottoms up to Liquid Death. But anyway, that was a bitch sip, by the way. Hopefully you guys this week is better than mine. Literally my last weekend to now has just been utter ass. From being sick, not feeling it. I've been sick from like Friday to Friday at this point now. I've been swinging. I've been battling through, but it is what it is. I've been throwing my Ali shirt today. I'm rumbling in the jungle with these goddamn diseases, man. I don't know what it is. And you know what pisses me off more is the sicker I sound, the more I sound like Seth Rogen. And I don't want to sound like Seth Rogen anymore. I'm battling not sounding like that fuck nut. But it is what it is. Either way, hopefully your week is going better than mine. Hopefully you enjoyed those 2 lovely episodes of the Nonsense Podcast where we discuss, what did we discuss this week? WrestleMania S3E23 and came back, touched a little bit more on what the fuck is that game? Hot Takes. That second round of Hot Takes. Chef's kiss, man. That shit was fucking beautiful. Playing devil's advocate is what I do best. I was glad to be able to do it again for everybody else, to at least show everybody what I mean by playing devil's advocate. It's a thing. It's defending points that I don't believe in sometimes. Which of those points did I not believe in? That's for you to decide. But there was one obvious one, and then there was other ones that weren't so obvious. But that Hot Takes episode was really fun. I don't think Invincible liked it that much. He's not one for arguing with Bob, but he came to the ring, he put his dukes up, and he tried his damnness. We probably won't be playing that anytime soon unless we're really low for content, or unless you request it. If you want it, by all means, we'll fucking come back to it. So go back to those videos, blow those videos up, and whatever, man. Maybe we'll go back to them. Who knows? But obviously you guys have seen the results of WrestleMania, so hopefully you commented below if we completely botched our predictions for WrestleMania or not. I think the obvious big hit is Cody Rhodes not winning the championship. But, I mean, are you really super surprised? He did shit on the company, take off, and then come back like he was going to be the godsend savior. And at the moment, Triple H was still in charge, and that wasn't how that was going to work out. Now, will things change because Vince is now back in charge again? Who knows? Will it be for the worse? More than likely. But you still got AEW, so that's something. That's something to look forward to. But yeah, WrestleMania was interesting. I caught a few more of the matches. I did get to not enjoy, but I did watch Shane, tear a quad, and Snoop step up and do what he had to do to, keep things moving. But I mean, it's one of those things where it is what it is. So shout out to Shane. Hopefully he gets better soon. Hopefully he doesn't, keep doing flips like he's fucking 20 again. He ain't 20 no more, man. You can't do that shit no more. But I don't know. It was still a good showing. I think everybody who did watch it enjoyed it. Everybody I know that watched it enjoyed it. So it was all good. Shout out to people who still are telling all of us wrestling fans, though, that wrestling is fake. Like, I mean, no shit, Sherlock? Or what do you want from us? Like, you coming up and explaining to us that wrestling is faked, which A, it's not, and B, like, what do you want? What do you want? You want a trophy? Did you just want wrestling to go away? Like, what do you want offering that information? Why can't you, just go into the realm of minding your own damn business and let people like what the fuck they like? Just douchebag of the week, man. Like, the fuck is going on, dude? Like, who? No one needs you to explain to us that wrestling is real or fake, or like, what was the point of your statement? I just want to know. Like, I really do want to know. People who go out of their way to say that wrestling is fake. Why? Why do you care? If everyone else is having fun and enjoying it, why do you care? I'm not even going to go into the arguments of why it is or isn't real. I always suggest people, if you have an issue and you feel like wrestling is too phony, I'm glad it's phony, for one, because I used to watch the Attitude Era, and I watched Undertaker bury dudes alive. I'm glad it's fake, because that was murder. I watched Stone Cold bring a gun to the ring. I'm glad that was fake, because that would have been a problem. Things like that. Like, I'm kind of glad that was semi-staged. But I also direct people to the Mick Foley Undertaker match, and I'm like, you tell me what part of this is fake, because that dude fell off of a 13-foot fucking cage. He had a tooth in his ear. I'm struggling to find the fake part of that. Like, the dude's beat up and broken for real. And the best part is, it was his idea. That's the fakest part of it all. It wasn't like Undertaker decided to kill him. It was Mick Foley's idea to give everybody a good show. So he decided to throw me off the cage, please. It'll look good. Like, that's some shit. That's the fake part of wrestling. It'll look good. Throw me off a cage. It'll look good. Set this table on fire and put me through it. It'll look good. Break into my house and beat me with a sledgehammer. It'll look great. That's the fake shit. Yeah, sure. Like, go fuck yourself. How about that? How about just mind your own business and go fuck yourself? Because I'm pretty sure you enjoy your fair share of fake shit. Like the NBA or the WNBA or just sports in general, which is really silly. Speaking of sports, I'm going to go ahead and give my quick little take on this scenario. Sorry, allergies and sickness. The whole thing with the two college female teams, I just want everybody to know, as a sports fan, as somebody who is kind of excited that the women's college game became important, there's a twofold answer to, before I get too far. The whole controversy is one chick, the white chick on one team, did the "you can't see me" John Cena thing, like fucking 2 days before the championship game. Championship game rolls around, the white chick's team lose, black chick rolls up, "you can't see me," points at her ring finger. And people were calling that unsportsmanlike conduct and, classless and all of that. And then it turned into a whole race thing almost immediately. I implore you to go check out the footage of it, because I'm not going to show it. I really don't give a shit. My take on it is, yes, it was slightly classless. And everybody's like, well, why is it classless when a black chick does it and a white chick does it? And between a white chick and a black chick? Well, it's two simplistic reasons. And again, this is just me looking at it from the perspective I looked at it. When the white chick did it, she was walking over to her teammates and she was hyped with her team. So, they can't see me out here. I'm too good, whatever. The black chick went up to the other team's face and kept doing this shit. Pretty much chasing her down, not literally running after her, but just walking up behind her, all in her face. "I'm the champ. You can't see me, bitch." That's called taunting. You can't do that in almost any fucking sport. You can yell and scream off in the corner all you damn want, because you just look psychopathic. You can celebrate with your teammates to a certain degree. But once you start taunting in front of another player, that's a thing. That's mostly banned in most sports. You can't do that. I'm sorry. So to the college female teams and the people who are now paying attention to college female basketball, welcome to the limelight, bitch. You can't do that. It's not a white or black thing. It was just they don't like it when you taunt other players. Get used to it. You can't do that anymore. You're on TV now. It looks bad. Sorry. You can cheer and yell and scream to yourself. You can do like Kevin Garnett, my boy, Kevin Garnett. You know what he used to do? He used to shit talk under his breath. And he used to go stand in front of the fucking rim and pound his head against that by himself. He did a lot of crazy shit off to himself. Every time he got in trouble was when he was yapping off at the mouth to another player. So he started talking to himself, started talking in the corner, and he started yelling at his own teammates. You could do that, but far be it from you to do it to anybody else. Like, just don't do that shit. It's pretty much all I can tell you. So, yeah, that's the thing. Should you care? No. Do I care? No. End of story. Let that die. Just all I can say to the women's teams is welcome to the limelight. To Dr. Jill Biden, I don't know why the fuck you're bringing a losing team. That's kind of weird. That might be a little racist, but coming from the Bidens, something racist, wow, shocking. Not really surprised at that one, so it is what it is. As you can tell, because I'm sick, I'm also trying to chill the fuck out. And I was kind of looking forward to this time of year because my favorite thing was coming up. And that was E3. E3 is probably one of my favorite events of the year. That shit's like Christmas to me. If you don't know what E3 is, you were living on a rock for some years. They have officially canceled it for this year, which means they canceled this year. It probably ain't coming back. This is probably the last hurrah. E3 was dying off slowly, and just because all the major companies were doing their own shit, it just slowly E3 just wasn't the thing anymore. For those of you who don't know E3 is electronic something expo. Electronic Entertainment Expo or Entertainment Electronic Expo. Something like along those three E's. But either way, it's sad that it's going out of style. I'm kind of upset about it. I enjoyed the moments that we got out of it, you know? A lot of people were at least recently shitting on how poor it's gotten and how lackluster it's gotten. Agreed. I do agree with that. I'm not going to sit here and defend like the last few years of E3 was gold. But every year of E3, we get something that's incredible. And what I would like for all of you to do, all of my gamers, I want you to do me this favor. Comment section below. Just comment your favorite fucking E3 moment. Because I was searching around and the E3 moments are very lackluster when you just search like, oh, greatest E3 moments. I know of a handful that were fucking phenomenal. I will say the Keanu Reeves taking over E3 was actually pretty dope. Doing the "You're amazing" to the one fan, that's pretty dope. That's just shit that happens at E3. Not that to me wasn't that big of a deal. The Asian chick that really was like super hyped for Tokyo Ghost or some shit like that. Game, which to me sounds like it sucked ass and I never played it. I think I own it and I never played it. But she was so hyped for the fucking game, I wanted it at that point. Those are two of my lackluster. I think one of my I'll give you my three favorites of recent memory. Three favorite E3 moments was, sadly enough, this ain't recent, but it's recent enough for me to remember. Twilight Princess being shown off for the first time was pretty dope because having Shigeru Miyamoto come out with the Master Sword and Shield and hype up the new fucking 3D Zelda game was pretty dope. I think that was like 2006 though, so pretty far back. Go look at that announcement. Super cool. To me, it came out of left field. I don't think anybody was ready for that to happen. And it was just really cool. It was really cool to see the creator of Zelda show some love towards that series. Shigeru Miyamoto loves Mario with a passion. He gives a lot of love to Mario, but seeing him show the same love towards Legend of Zelda was very, very, very cool. So that's one. Side note, shout out to Reggie. Just one of the greatest memes of recent memories when he first introduced himself as, I think at that moment he was president of Nintendo or something like that. And he came out with the Wii Fit board. Really funny moment where he steps on the board and goes, "My body is ready." It was memeable, quotable, silly shit, but shit that happens at E3. So I'll put those two combined at my number 3. My number 2 moment of E3, which was an actual shocker moment, was the announcement of God of War 2017, 18, whatever year that came out. That was a fucking shock because we all knew that God of War might come back eventually. If you ever played God of War and you finished the series, you played 3, you knew he didn't technically die. But we never knew what happened to him, and nothing really ever shown its face. And the way they announced it was just pure fucking shock. You didn't know it until the moment you were supposed to fucking know it. The trailer kicked off with Atreus. I think he was burying his mom, or he had like the little ritual for him. Comes in the house. I think that's what it was. It showed Atreus coming into the house, praying over his mother, and then Kratos walks in here. Boom. And it was just like, what the fuck is that music? I know that music. And then you hear Kratos' voice, and you're like, fuck, Kratos is back. And all you could think of immediately was all the gods you were ready to murder. I've never been so hyped for a game. I swear on my life, that game was fucking phenomenal. That first one was really good. God of War Ragnarok, not terrible, but it didn't have the hype that the first one grasped. The way it was introduced, the new gameplay, the new mechanics, trying to piece together kind of what happened in between, the solid nods to the Greek mythology while he was still in the Viking mythology. It's a lot of great stuff. The ending where Thor shows up, and you're just like, oh shit, there's going to be another one. He's going to fight Thor finally. All this little shit. The way that they handled the first one was phenomenal. You were ready for a new fucking adventure. And they did under-deliver when it came time to, but that game, the way it was announced, was fucking phenomenal. And I think if I'm not mistaken, they geared right into gameplay, or they did show Kratos' face right away. I know that for sure. So seeing him older with a beard and all of that stuff, really fucking cool. Just the perfect way to hype up a game. Hands down, the perfect way to hype up a game. So that comes down to my number 1, which is an obvious. The Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement trailer. That trailer was so fucking good that I used the sound from my trailer for season 3 of the show. So if you go back and listen to my trailer, for those who didn't know, congratulations, you're one of us. For those of us who didn't know, that was the Final Fantasy trailer audio. So the guy talking was the same audio from the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer. Phenomenal trailer, caught my attention immediately. I remember seeing the crowd pop the fuck off. Like it was like Jesus showed the fuck back up. Because there was no prior announcements. There was nothing like on the lines of this might happen, this could happen, this is the time we're finally going to see it. There was none of that. It was sheer utter silence and a bunch of bullshit before that. Because I think they had just announced like Final Fantasy VII HD, like just an HD version of the original game being re-released. I think a little bit before then they had shown that's when Cloud made it to Smash Brothers. So we were kind of living off of that hype. So everything was kind of cool, but we were just like, the game's never coming. We've been begging for a remake of the game for years, and it just ain't happening. And for them to do it the way they did it, and again, for those who knew, the little subtle music, the little subtle screenshots, you knew, holy shit, this is Final Fantasy VII. For the others who didn't know, they didn't know until it was time to know. But most of us knew immediately, and we were hyped. Again, don't even watch the trailer. Go back and just watch the crowd reaction to that fucking trailer. And you would think it was a championship game that everybody won simultaneously. Nope, it was just our favorite game being re-released. And it was about goddamn time. So, I mean, again, it was all great stuff. I hope E3 comes back eventually. I hope we get something equivalent to E3. I do enjoy getting all of the updates of new and current games all in one general space. It was kind of nice. I like the drop of information about new consoles and things of that nature, all in one generalized place. I just miss all of that shit. I miss the rivalry between the consoles when one console would, when Xbox, I think that was the Xbox One, when they first originally mentioned that you had to be online continuously, and that if you borrowed a game, you wouldn't be able to trade games with different people and shit like that because all your games were locked to your console. And then PlayStation bounced back and said, "This is how you share games with PlayStation." And he just passed it to his friend. Shit like that was fucking great, and I miss that. Like, they need to do shit like that again. Because yes, I'm not saying the console wars is not stupid, but there was a rivalry of keeping each other in check consistently. One company did something stupid, then the other company had to one up them. When PlayStation decided for some stupid reason that their console should be $700 damn, Xbox was like, "We'll keep ours at $4, reasonably priced." And then what did that do? Force PlayStation to bring their fucking money back down. So shit like that. Like, I miss the competitiveness of E3. I miss everybody trying to one up the next guy. Shit like that. But it is what it is. I'm happy. I'm sad that it's gone. I'm happy and hopeful knowing that I've experienced E3 and parts of my life I wish I got to go at some point. But I'm hopeful that it will return or we get something equivalent. It'll be really nice. I just like the idea of what E3 has always been. So shout out to E3. Cheers to you, man. Hopefully you come back sooner than later. And if not, it's been one hell of a ride. So cheers to E3. From at least from the F and Entertainment crew. Salute. So with that being said, it's time to wrap this episode up. I know. It's been a week. I'm still sick and I don't want to ramble for too goddamn long. But I have a few things that I need you guys to do. So, step numero uno. Do me a favor and run by www.fnentertainment.com. There's this cool website. See if that pops up for you. Look at that. Effing Entertainment. Does that scroll? I don't see it scrolling. That sucks. It doesn't scroll. But either way, stop by the website. Look at all the cool shit. We got clips. We got the Instagram. We got the show itself. Everything's there. There's no reason for you not to know what we're doing at all times. All of our individual links, whether it be me, Invincible, or Kelly. You can get in touch with all of us in our different avenues of life. I know Invincible's still streaming. He started streaming on Kick, which is pretty dope. So support my boy over there. He still streams on Twitch. Blow the man up, man. Blow the man up. He's got more free time. He's going back to morning streams and shit. So, yeah, man, spend some time with Invincible every once in a while. Kelly is currently taking a small break, but she's still training all over the Chicago City area. So if you need dog training, by all means, go to the #1 dog trainer in the city, because I don't have a dog, but I've met other dog trainers through her, and I know for a fact, this is not me being biased, ain't nobody training like Kelly's training, man. People don't know the shit that she knows. And if you don't believe me, do me this secondary idea and stop by the Think Positive podcast. If you just go to Kelly's link tree below or go to www.fnentertainment.com, her podcast is available right next to mine. If you just search it up, FN Entertainment, we produce both shows. So Nonsense and Think Positive Podcast are both FN Entertainment brands. So please go check those out. If you're kind of on the fence, if you don't believe that she's a great trainer, take a listen. You take a listen to that podcast and you come back and tell me she's not a great trainer. It's impossible. So yeah, check her out on her podcast. If you're looking to have your dog trained, especially a brand new puppy, I've seen her do wonders with brand new puppies. I've seen her give, puppy owners some hope that they didn't have before. And even if you have an older dog, she is a firm believer. Yes, you can teach old dogs new tricks, and I've seen her do it. She is a phenomenal trainer. So please give her a chance. And if you don't, just check her podcast out if you're just interested in really cool dog facts. I learned a lot. I've learned a lot just sitting there helping produce it. So really cool stuff. So yeah, Henny doing his streams, Kelly doing her podcast, and me. Obviously you found this version of the podcast on YouTube or Spotify or wherever else you're listening to. But hey, just do me a favor. Tell 5 friends to tell 5 friends. Just show them the podcast. It's pretty dope. I think so. We're trying new stuff here and there. We're talking about as much as we can talk about. And if you don't like what we talk about, it's a real simple thing to do, man. If you just go to www.fnentertainment.com, there's a link at the bottom where you can just, send us a quick message. Hey, it'd be really dope for your podcast if you did this. And if it's a dope idea, we'll fucking do it. The board games that we played for the last few episodes, fan idea. And we just ran with it. And we ran with it pretty fucking hard, if you ask me. So yeah, we take suggestions fairly well. Shout outs, donations. So you can do all of that from fnentertainment.com. Yeah, there's no reason not to. Check it out. And again, YouTube, I love it. I'm glad you guys are blowing up on YouTube, but I understand YouTube's inconvenient. That's why our podcast, at least mine and the Think Positive podcast, are both available. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the Spreaker main website, if you want to go there and listen. On my website, on your Alexa. We are available anywhere you listen to music or your podcast or audibles. I think we're on Amazon Music at this point. So no excuse not to find us and listen to us the way you prefer. I am working on an app. Hopefully the app works out pretty well. But for now, we're just going to stick to the basics and get that going pretty well. By the way, merch. We have merch. New shirts. Mine's haven't arrived yet because money. But I thought it was a delay in shipment, but it was I have no money. So it is what it is. But buy some new shirts. We updated the old shirts to make sure that they were crispy, spelled correctly and whatnot. I am in the process of finishing off some new shirts, so that's coming soon. But yeah, check us out. Do all the stuff. Like, comment, and subscribe. Join us during the live showings of the podcast on YouTube. We premiere each episode live at 9 o'clock. So you can hang out with the effing crew, listen together, comment together, and we just shit talk each other even as the podcast goes on. Like we didn't get enough of shitting on each other during the show. Then we got to shit on each other in the comment section. But it is what it is. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Throwback Friday episode. This Throwback Friday episode, because that last episode, the Devil's Advocate episode was kind of heated. I figure we roll it back a little bit, do something a little more calmer. So we are rolling back to a good friend of mine. We named him Tasmanian Devil. But it was a really chilled, really positive episode. Something we don't do often on Nonsense. It was definitely nonsense in the sense that it was not nonsense. So, shout out to a good friend of mine. I hope he's listening at this moment. You are one of my best friends, I would say. Hopefully I could be at least a decent friend to you, but it is what it is if I'm not. But shout out to Taz. Yeah. So we're going to roll back to the PMA episode on this great episode of the Throwback Friday. So until next week, I will see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Do something fun. Don't do anything stupid. But if you do something stupid, just don't post it. Just don't post it on social media. On that note, I'll catch you motherfuckers next Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Do something cool. Fuck it. I don't know. I was trying to think of something cool to say. I ain't got nothing cool to say. I'm sick, bitch. Leave me alone. Welcome back, everybody, to the Nonsense Podcast. I'm your host, FM Bob, and with me today is a very special guest, known only as the Tasmanian Devil. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well, man. It's been a long time coming. I've been dying to get you on the show, and I'm glad I got you now.
Me too. We've been talking about this for quite a minute, and it's about that time.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely about that time. And you're a man of many stories, so I hope I can probe you as much as humanly possible. No pun intended.
All right. Sounds good. I'll give you what I can.
Of course. So, first off, I'd just like to let you know, because I don't know if you've actually listened to the previous episodes of the show. I typically am an open book, and I respect if you don't want to be an open book, but that's not going to stop me from asking you every question I can get my hands on. And
I'm sure.
And especially based on the last few episodes I've done have been heavily relationship based, so I might definitely dive into that a little bit in this episode as well.
No, that's all right. I got some stories for you.
So, I'll start off with a simple question. I'll start with a very simple question. Especially in this current climate. How do you feel about just marriage in general? Because I've been slowly just watching marriage take a weird turn after weird turn. And I personally, and viewers of the show know, I never want to get married. At this point now, I know it's just a waste of my damn time. But I'd like to get as many people's perspective on it, because some people know, like my other guests, they're like in and out of relationships. We did, like I said, we did a whole breakup thing not too long ago. But I want to know, what's your thoughts?
Well, I have a simple thought process that I've maintained for such a long time, and it's this. You know, when people get married, they have a marriage certificate, and when they get married, they exchange as we know, gold on a ring. But I always tell people that you can put the marriage certificate on the wall and put the ring on the chest of drawers, and if the building or house burns down and the gold melts and the paper burns, what do you have? And that's where I start to think and say, listen, unless you have something of substance, then, you know, the wedding day means nothing. The question is all the trials and tribulations and positive things that could happen throughout a marriage. It ain't no joke, man. I mean, marriage is day one. The question is, after that, it's a job. And the question is, what are you going to do after that? So to go to my preface, the paper, the gold means nothing. The question is, what do two people have that could make them last? It's a lot of work. I will tell you that, I'm not necessarily fond of marriage either. But after 3 months, depending on the state that you're in, it's common law marriage. So if you're messed up, you're still screwed. You're still screwed. So it all depends on the individual. I mean, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Listen, I got a brother that believes that he doesn't want to get married either. And he believes that if he makes a personal commitment to a person, a woman in his case, of about, let's say 20 years now, and she feels the same, they've been doing just great, and they're still not married. So it all depends on the individual, depends on the circumstance. Some people say they get married for financial reasons. I'm going to just say, without being too expletive, it's BS. It's really who you are. And if there's love there, great. But it's a job, man. It's hard work. And marriage is just a title, man. For some odd reason, when people get married, they lose their damn mind. Excuse my French. Is it okay to say that word?
No, it's all fine. This is as open and explicit as you want to be, man. I have no rules here.
Yeah. It's really, you know, people lose their damn minds. I mean, it's on both sides of the table. I won't go on detail unless you ask, but both men and women's side, it all depends on their thought process and their comfortability and their experience, and what their thought process is initially on why they want to get married in the first place.
Yeah. You know, I love that. That's a much more insightful answer I was expecting.
Hey, you know me.
No, it's very honest. And again, I get a lot of flack for it as well, because I'm in a long-standing relationship. At this point now, I don't know exactly, but I know it's over 10 years that me and Kelly have been together, and we're just fine.
Guess what?
What's that?
You're married.
Yeah, definitely with common law. Common law is a thing that
That's it.
and mind you, we have already discussed it. I said if it becomes a problem, I'll kick her out, and she can stay away for a little bit, and then we'll come back together after the fact when it wears off. If that's how the
Right.
government wants to play, we'll play.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of late now, man. You've been doing 10 years, man.
I
I don't know
know.
about that.
I
You
know.
passed the 3 month mark, man. You done. You done.
I swear I don't know what it is about the two of us. We're an oddball couple. I've always said that, and she knows that too. We don't make sense on paper. If you look at our personality traits, they don't line up whatsoever. But I've always told people that we're more of a team than anything else. We work together. We coexist perfectly. We complement
Now
each
look at
other when
that.
we need to.
Look what you just said. You
That's,
just answered. That's the answer.
that's
That's it. What you just said is the answer. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that cannot say that statement. There are people out there, expect their kids to get married, their parents, say, oh, and there's like arranged marriages and so on and so forth. And this girl's good for you, this boy is good for you. Well, some of these women and men are not even good for their own self.
exactly.
They don't even know themselves. And I think that's the most important thing when you intertwine with someone is to know who you are. And then trying to be honest with oneself is a very difficult thing to do, especially in your youth. If you come from a broken home, especially, and I'm a prime example of that, you have to really look at the situation. I came from a broken home, and then I got married at the age of 19, thinking I was going to do something different than my parents. And guess what? I was wrong because I didn't know myself and I didn't really know her. I thought I did. But at 19, I was still trying to figure out how to wipe my booty properly with some baby wipes. You know what I mean? Shoot, I was overseas. I had traveled the planet, but still couldn't figure out how to wipe my booty right. And how am I expect to know what a marriage is? But that's the biggest thing too, is looking at your parents and what they give you. Whether it be positive or negative, the question is, as an individual, what do you take from it? And hopefully you can have a good perspective before you engage and intertwine in a relationship with someone else. Because if you do not have clarity, that's going to be an issue.
Shoot. No, I think you hit the nail right on the head on that one, man.
I'm just letting you know.
No, that's as solid as it comes. So, all right, now I got to ask you this, because now I got to probe a little bit. Because you said you got married at 19, which is early as all humanly hell. Like I don't even know how you manage that.
Yeah, me either.
What was the one thing, if you could just think of one thing that you're just like, that was, I would say, the red flag of like, all right, that I seen this and I should have never gotten married after I noticed that.
When she flew out, I was actually in Japan. We were high school sweethearts, and I went to Japan. And upon my coming back to Camp Pendleton, California, I got a call from her. And she had a girlfriend in San Diego, California, that was married to a correctional officer for the state of California. Anyway, long story short, I didn't see that she and her parents, there was some tribulations there. I saw it, but I didn't peep it. And she wanted to get out. So I was an escape module. And I didn't see that until time passed on. Although she might have cared for me, and maybe she said she loved me, but hey, at 19, I love my shoes. That doesn't mean I'm in love with my shoes. But you don't really realize what the situation was. And then she gave me a call, and she said, hey, I'm here. And I felt a little pressured because I wanted to do something greater than myself. I wanted to do something that my parents didn't do, and that was last. My parents were a great team, but not. And that might be for a different story. But I thought I was going to do something greater than myself, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be a positive and productive. I ended up damn near $30,000 in debt.
Oh, shit.
And I had to kick her out of the base housing, and she went with another individual. Matter of fact, it was a master gunnery sergeant's son. Oh. We both volunteered at the Boys and Girl Club at the military base, and she saw something brighter. And the joke of it, and I'll try to sum it up, after we separated, her girlfriends that she worked with told her, say, hey, don't leave the Tasmanian devil. Don't do it, because he's a good guy. Right. And they were telling me, I was like, hey, if she want to go, she got to go. Let her do her thing. And then just about a year later, she kind of befriended her girlfriends again. And the joke was, she found out where I lived. I lived in Vista, California. I got out of the Marine Corps, and I got a knock on the door. And when I open up the door, I see her face. I just kind of froze. And what I noticed is that her face was slightly bruised, but healing. And the only thing that I could say is, he's beating you, isn't he? And she says, nothing but just a tear. I said, come on in. She sat down, and she gave me a spiel with an end result of asking, could we get back together? I said, hell no. No. I said, are you absolutely out of your godforsaken mind? After all the stuff, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went on. Are you crazy? And here's the joke. I didn't even tell my parents that I was getting married. Oh, wow. I eloped, didn't even tell. Well, and that's when I realized there was an issue. I did not have the tools at my disposal to do the right thing. But I let her go. And you know what? And she's living probably a good life now, but at that time, it was just a different story, man. You know, that's it.
Wow. I will say you're a better man than me. I won't say I was in an exactly similar situation, but I guess it was closely, because it was same scenario, young love. It was my first girlfriend. And everybody knows your first is the worst for you, mentally, at least, if nothing else. And
true that.
We were together for a while, and pretty much what ended up happening is her mother told me to leave her, because her mother was looking at the two of us and saying, look, man, she is abusing you mentally. I don't know if you see it, but I see it. Wow. Get the fuck away from her. It's not worth it. You're a good kid. Stay the hell away from her. She's not good for you.
That's a good mom.
Yeah, I know. It was nuts. It was actually nuts. And then years went by. I was in and out of relationships for a while. But, you know, again, in the back of your mind, it's just like, man, nothing's like that first one. And eventually she came back, and I swear, as soon as you get a little bit of confidence in your own head, it seems like every ex comes back.
Yeah, right?
It's now, so strange.
It is strange. Now, let me take a step back. As you were saying, that was your first. Now, I was kind of a weird kid, because I can't say that was my first marriage. Right. But that was definitely not my first encounter.
No. I've heard your stud on stories, so you are.
Oh man.
You are a globetrotter.
Well, you know, I don't know about here. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about when you say globetrotter. I appreciate that thing, but here's the biggest thing when it comes to men. Men have to be confident in their own skin, and unfortunately, I know there's going to be some men out there that are going to listen to this and they're going to be pissed. But I'm going to just let them know right now. You have to be self-sufficient. You have to be self-engaged, and you have to be comfortable in your own skin. Yes. Especially when you look in the mirror when you got no clothes on. You understand what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So it don't matter whether or not you got a nightstick or you got a toothpick. But you got to make sure. You got to make sure that you're comfortable in your own skin.
Right.
Now, and the reason I say that is one thing I learned from my father, even though my parents separated. My father taught me something that was very important, and he said this: always maintain your calmness, cool, calm, and collected. He says, listen, don't look, because you will not find. Do what makes you feel comfortable. He says, when you go out to party, in his West Indian accent, he said, when you go out to party, don't go look for no girl. Go and enjoy the music. The girl will come for you. Go out and dance and enjoy it. The girl will come for you, and that way you can say yes, yes, and no, and maintain your confidence and your thought process. And I'll tell you what, that always worked. I was always comfortable in my own skin, and I didn't have to get another notch on the pea shooter, as they say, or put a star in the book. That wasn't my thing.
Huh. I swear, man, I should have been hitting the clubs with you or something like that, man, because I did not gain my confidence until maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, you want me to? Can I tell you a quick story?
Of course.
All right, so I'm at this club many years after the marriage and so forth. So I'm at this club in the city of Chicago, and it's a salsa club. I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, I used to dance a little salsa, and then get cumbia, bachata, whoever's listening, they know what's up. So anyway, I see there's a bar. and the girls are all dressed to impress. And these girls are dressed to catch any man or dog attention. Okay, so I see the third girl from the left, from the end of the bar. There's about, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. Anyway, so I see the third girl, something says to me, man, I see her moving. I said, let me not ask. So I'll go over to the left and ask the first girl. I said, hey, would you like to dance? My father always was polite. Put your hand down and say, would you like to dance? And the girl said no. And she said it so loud that the girl to her left heard it. And I asked the second girl. She said no. And the third girl, who I had an eye on, she said no. Now, mind you, I going down a few more girls, and they all said no until I get to the end. And I look at this tall girl, Amazon, like Wonder Woman. Oh, and she tall. Now, she's a very shapely girl, but I think to myself, with my thin little self, I'm like, I might have to put on my Superman cape for this one, because this thing will be easy, right? So I said, would you like to dance? And the song came out. And we danced up a storm. Matter of fact, we did this one song, bachata song, where I had to, like, you know, when you're dancing, you're in the groove and you're moving, and I want to dip her. So I had to make sure that my right leg had some extra power so I could hold her. Because I know if I didn't, she'd have dropped like a hot potato. So I'm just like holding her, boom, boom, boom. And we danced and danced. And as soon as the song, and I knew the song well, as soon as the last note played, yo, I said, thank you very much. Boom. And this happened the whole night. Now, in the middle of the night, I went to the same bar. Some of the girls were still hanging on that bar because no one would ask them nothing. All these big men dressed to impress with hair and chest and gold chain sticking out on their third button. Like, you know, what the hell is
Fabio
this
looking
shit? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? My shit was buttoned all the way to my damn neck. I'm looking like Urkel, brother. But I was handsome looking Urkel. I'll say that. Thank Jesus. Thank Jesus for that. So anyway, I looked to my left. I looked to my right. I said, excuse me, ladies. And I walked right in between. I got a napkin, dabbed my head for the sweat. And the girl left and right to talk to me. They're like, oh, you're a good dancer. You must be Puerto Rican. I said, no, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from Trinidad. They said, oh, where's Trinidad? I said, look it up. Look it up. And I step away. And then I go to the girl at the end again, the big girl, the tall girl. And we dance and dance. And then the light turns on. The club is about to close. And at that last note, I stepped back, hold her hand and said, thank you for dancing with me. I had an enjoyable night. I went to take off, make a left turn. She grabbed me, my feet lifted off the ground, dude.
Oh, no.
She grabbed me. She was like, yo. And I'm like, what's up? She goes, are you going to ask me for my number? I said, are you going to be here next week Friday? She said, yes. I said, then I'll see you next week Friday. Have a good night.
Ooh,
and I walked out.
That is smooth. Smooth operator. I could not pull that off.
When you can do that, because here's the thing. Why rush? Why rush? There's no reason. And here's the biggest thing about that. The objective for me that night was to go enjoy a song with a nice person that could dance and move well. It wasn't about getting another notch on the future. Now, if that may happen, it probably wouldn't have happened the same night. That's not something I go in there and look, because here's the thing. Women smell shit a mile away. Not too many men have that sixth sense. Most women do. But when you go in the club, and if your objectives are other than enjoying the night, having a drink with your friends, or even having a drink by yourself and enjoying the atmosphere and the music, then you're in the club for the wrong reasons. If you're trying to get another notch on the pea shooter, you're going to lose. And even if you get it, you're going to lose. Because guess what? Then you're going to treat that girl bad 9, 10 times. You're going to treat that girl bad who knows a friend that knows a friend that knows you, that you're a nasty person. I'd say mofo. That's just my thing. It passes, especially in Chicago. Everybody knows everybody. Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
That's very true. Well, shoot, man.
So,
yeah, no, I like that setup, man. I do like that setup. I really, and again, it's not that I don't have the confidence now, but I swear I wish I had the confidence a good 10 years ago, man. I was not in my prime back then, man.
Well, I don't know where I got it from. I mean, shoot, in second grade, I was kissing a girl behind the chalkboard.
Ooh,
with my dad, and her name was Rita, her mom, and they were getting my report card from a nun. I went to a Catholic school, and me and her, and we went back to chalkboard at the end of the classroom, playing like we drinking water. We going, you're doing a little smooch. My father caught me one day. He said, "Boy, something wrong with you." You know, so he made me read a book called Love and Sex just to teach me the right and the wrong ways.
Right.
And I think that's where I got it from, because my dad saw something early and nipped it in the butt and trained me very early. Listen, my parents might have flaws, but there's a lot of things that my mom and my dad trained me well. And that's one thing I will never forget about my dad. You know, we'd move the coffee table, man. He put on some bossa nova. He put on anything from back in the day, right, and say, this is how you ask a girl to dance. And if anybody tells you this is not the way, or they clown you, maintain what you do. Because even they clown you, you're doing the best thing possible. You're doing the better thing. And he used to ingrain it to me. Right. As a kid. I mean, I was like 5, and he was doing it can't tell you how many times he did it every year. Shoot, by the time I was 13, just something happened. It was just training. I was fortunate to have a dad that had that thought process, and he passed it on to me. Whether or not he followed the same thought process, I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, he serenaded my mother with a quattro. It's a 4-string small guitar-like instrument. Oh. And he married my mom at an early age. But I don't know. I have to thank him for that. And, you know, either that or he enhanced what was already in me. And I've never changed that policy since. I will not change for nobody. And the guys don't like that. A lot of guys that I went out with, they hated it. They're like, dude, how come the girl's always talking to you? I said, well, dude, I mean, why don't you clear your mind? You know what I mean? I mean, don't come to the club looking for a girl. Come in here, have a drink with me, have a shot, enjoy the music, and never go nuts on your door. Great. Mm-hmm. What do you want me to say? That's it.
Damn, man, you're a regular Casanova, man. That's what that is.
No, it's not a Casanova. A Casanova, no. A Casanova is somebody that doesn't tell the truth. A Casanova is somebody that is playing debonair, is giving this false pretense, is giving a picture that doesn't exist. Because here's the thing. No one can keep up that much bullshit for 30 days, let alone maybe 90 days, just like a regular job. They give you 90 days. Right. So no man or woman can hold that much bullshit in 90 days, because guess what? On the 91st day, your true colors are going to reveal itself. And sometimes in situations, either or on either side of the party, sometimes it's too late because I love you, I love him, I love you, and you're like, damn, I can change him or I can change her. But it's too damn late. I'm sorry. Be upfront right from the get-go. Right. And guess what? People, and as a man, if you're honest with a woman right from the get-go, if they don't like it, then tough titties to the kitty when the milk went dry. Bye-bye.
Holy
go.
Shit.
That's it. Gotta go. Because guess what? How many oceans are there on the planet?
7, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Guess what? Swam in the Pacific, swam in the Atlantic, and I'm going to leave it like that. But I've swam in many oceans. And if you know how to do the front stroke, side stroke, and you can do some floating, then you're good. But you got to do it right.
Right.
Don't do it for the wrong reasons. Because once you start with the wrong reasons, then it's a false pretense right from the get-go. And especially as a man, you don't want to do that to a girl, because there's no worse wrath than the scorn of a woman.
God damn, man.
Point blank.
That is very good, man. So, okay, so now I'm going to have to make sure I put that in the memory banks to remove Casanova, because I did not actually know that about the Casanova term. So I'm going to put that in the memory banks. I'm letting that one go. I'm 100% letting that one go. I never thought of it that way, because I always just thought of, the Casanovas, the sweet talker, the smooth guy, you know what I mean? But never the guy who just outright lies,
That's what sweet talking is. No. Sweet talking is false. Right. Because they're using terms that they would normally not use. That they're verbalizing something that they caught from someone else. They're not being true to themselves. Because here's the thing: if you're true to yourself and somebody doesn't find that capturing, then that person's not meant for you. But if you're true to yourself, there's somebody out there for you, whether it be a day or for multiple years. Sometimes it's just for a moment in time. I mean, I have traveled where I've met people on a plane and traveled and met them throughout the travel. And for 2 or 3 days, it's been the best moment in time. And that's it. And then that's all it's meant to be. Right. Life is funny, brother. But, if you're trying to be something that you're not, then you're going to fail right from the get-go. It's going to fail. It's going to catch up with you. You cannot bullshit yourself or anybody else for 90 days. You go into a job, you got 90 days. You can, if you ain't true from day one, then you ain't true on 91st day. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I like that. I 100% like that. And, I think that's because I've said a lot of things about relationships over time, especially on this show. And it's nice for it to be put in a nicer tone. Because I've said similar things, but in a much harsher tone. So people hear me and they're just like, this guy's full of it. Like, he's absolutely full of shit. Because, and I will say this, and I'm sure you've never heard me say this before. But my big thing that I've said on this show 1,000 times over is, how men nowadays are calling themselves kings and stuff like that, right? And more power to you if you want to do that. But I have to remind people, and women especially too, because women will call themselves queens, and I'm like, don't forget what a queen is. The king's bitch. That's what you are. So remember your place in the relationship. And I have to remind men, not all of you are kings. Some of you are the pauper. Some of you are the village idiot. Like, not all of us are the great people in the world. And what do they call him?
Is it the Joker? What do they call him?
The jester, the court jester.
The court jester. And the court jester. That's exactly right, man. And here's the thing: it's easy. It's not hard. Here's the thing: everybody knows who they are. Right. When they look in the mirror, they know who they are. You can't fool yourself. They say you can't fool the fooler, can't lie to a liar, and you can't steal from the thief.
Right.
Just don't do it. If you had a little bit more confidence, and people don't realize that there's no need to rush. If you maintain some stability, some honesty, men would be surprised at women coming towards them.
Yeah.
And then listen to them, and them talking to them, and they could be on the other side saying, maybe this girl is not right for me. Right. I mean, it all depends. But the point I'm trying to make is, the way the perception is today is that all men are a-holes,
Yeah.
But keep something in mind. When a man cheats, you ever seen The Exorcist?
Yes.
Okay. You remember that one thing where there was one part where the house girl, whatever, the babysitter, whatever, she calls the priest. And he comes to the house, and they lift her shirt, Reagan's shirt, and it says, "Help me." Okay. When a man cheats or acts a damn fool, it shows up on his face, just like The Exorcist. I'm guilty. Guilty. But guess what? A woman, she could hide that shit. Yeah. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that if a man cheats, he's not doing it because of love. No. He's doing it because he's trying to get another notch on the pea shooter, which is still stupid. Now, when a woman does it, it's because she's fallen for another man. Right. Her emotions are involved in it. And that's a little bit different. And when that happens, that means the man needs to question himself and just leave. Yeah. Like my dad used to say, man, if you fuck up, the sooner you leave, the sooner something else would come. But you have to make sure that you're a clean-minded and thought process, because if not, then you're going to repeat the same shit over and over.
100%. 100%. I have made this statement 1,000 times over, especially when it comes to stuff like that. It's if you're going to leave righteously. Like, don't leave with an ultimatum in mind. Don't try and act a certain way for something else to happen. It's a righteous mindset, and that's something I've learned over time. Like I said, it's a confidence thing, and it's being in your right mind. It's I do these things for me. And whatever happens and comes around me is what I deserve, being me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, karma is a bitch. Excuse my French.
Shit.
But I mean, I'm telling you, man. I got a lot of stories. I mean, here. I don't know if I should tell you another short one.
No, I mean, by all means, we got plenty of time for you.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna try to say this without saying names in a particular place. But I drove to another state, and I drove up during a holiday, and to go meet a friend of mine, and a friend and a family member friend, whatever. So anyway, we roll up into this club, and we see these twins, and one is they're both hourglass shaped. Let me put that this way:
Wow.
hourglass shaped girls, but one is a little bit thinner and one's a little bit thicker. Now, in my eyes, if you don't have the right mindset or don't speak with some clarity, whether you're slender or you're a little thicker with an hourglass, whatever, don't matter, then you're going to be off. Because pretty doesn't mean the shape and the look of your body. It's what you have and what's being expressed out of your lips. Because I've met prettier girl and they open their mouth and it's nothing but crap coming out of their lips. And you're like, damn, can't do it. So anyway, so we up there, boom. And we jamming out, da-da-da. So my friend decides to talk to, well, it just so happens that he's talking to the thicker girl, let's say, with an hourglass figure, and I'm talking to the thinner girl with an hourglass, and I'll leave it like that. So we start talking to her. For some odd reason, maybe an hour after that, he says to me, he's like, yo, we're going to have to switch. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's got to switch. He's like, because he's visually, he's seeing the thinner girl as something that's more apt for him. I said, all right, man, because he knows I have my debonair ways of doing things, so we do a switch. I said, okay, just to make him happy. Okay. I said, no problem. So all of a sudden, he's talking to the thin girl, I'm talking to the bigger girl. and bear, let me say this one more time. They're both beautiful women, and both spoke eloquently. I mean, they were very educated. Not that you have to be educated, but even if they weren't, I was like, damn, if somebody knows the dictionary. I was like, damn, somebody knows something around here, right? And I'm just thinking, okay, so boom. And here's the joke. Here's the moral of the story. The ladies say, we really appreciate you guys buying us drinks, but we've got to go. My friend says, why? And the thin girl says, well, our dates are here. And the dates walk in. And the dates walk in, and I start cracking up inside deeply without showing facial emotion. I am cracking because I'm like, see, this is what your ass get. This is what your ass get, okay? This is what happens when you go to the club and you think you want to get another notch on the T-shirt. And guess what? Man, he was pissed the whole night. And you know what? Here's a joke. There were a few things that happened after that. Going home, I drove back to Illinois, and I haven't spoken to him in about 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And I've known this guy from the Marine Corps back in the day. And he's a nice guy. I mean, he's a very successful person. I mean, he's just, he's surpassed. He's good at what he does. But the one thing I always look at, again, is how do we grow up? A lot of the things that we do as adults have something to do with the way we grow up, something that happened in our past with our parents, moms, dads, whatever the case may be. And everybody's life's tribulations are different. The question is, what do we do with it? And if we don't recognize the pros of it, maybe the cons of it, then it may be hard for us to decipher how we live our lives and how we interact with people. So specifically, persons of the opposite sex, whether you're a man, woman, dog, or parrot, or cat. I'm just letting it, just putting it out there. But
yeah,
that's it's just, and I've seen it before. It's just, but I've always had issues growing up. They always didn't like me. They're like, why the girls like you? I'm like, well, because my mind is clear. That's why. Because they got a sixth sense. They got a spidey sense, brother. They can smell shit a mile away. Because if you ain't the right, they're going to cast their web on you and stick you on the wall and say, you're shit. That's all I got to say about that.
I love that. All right. I think now is a great time to take a quick commercial break so I can attempt to get paid from doing this. And then we'll come right back with more Taz and some more of his incredible stories.
All right.
So I'll catch you guys in a bit. But welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm still here with Taz. This is still me, F and Bob. We're still doing the podcast thing. I don't know why I have to tell you that, but that's what it is. But everybody out there listening right now, do me a favor, and if you can, follow me on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you listen on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes. I'm available everywhere. The show doesn't go anywhere, man. If I'm taking a break, I'm sorry, but there's always content for you to enjoy. And if you don't enjoy the content of the podcast, and there's always YouTube with some random videos here and there, and Twitch where I play video games. So I'm available whenever you wanted to hear me. And by the way, and I don't know if you know this, Mr. Taz, I have shirts. The new shirts are available now. So make sure you stop by and get you a shirt, get you a water bottle. Oh man, I got so much new stuff available. It's so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
I gotta get it.
I will. You know what? Just for you, I will get you a shirt. I will get you your own personal shirt.
Is it in black? Is it in black?
Of course, it's in black. Of course, it's in black. I have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a light-skinned brother, but I wasn't black.
So as of today, my very first shirt has been redone because I can't spell, so I correct the spelling on it. So I have my "Too legit to quit, too stupid not to do it" shirt now available with correct spelling. And then my favorite and everyone else's favorite, my Danny Says shirt. And I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but the Danny says, you got a bitch, you got kids, you need to work overtime. And that's our Danny. That is our Danny boy. He made sure I got him a shirt.
Cool.
So yeah, so all of the nonsense fans, please buy a shirt. It supports me and it supports people coming onto my show and stuff like that too, man. The more you guys support me, the more I can pull off over time. Anyway, so back to you. We discussed a lot during that commercial break, and I kind of feel like I should add some of that in. But it made me think of a question I wanted to ask you. Because you have traveled the world. I mean, twice over pretty much. Is there, and this is not like a political question, but is there one country that you're just like, man, if I wanted to switch teams, that's the place I want to live. That's the country I want to be in.
Japan.
Really? See,
yeah.
It's not just us nerds, man. See, they always say the nerds want to stay in Japan, but Japan's a beautiful country.
No. Japan's a beautiful country. And I think, it's because living in the United States, listen, I come from a different country, but most of my life here I spent in the United States. And my father and my mother did their best by taking me back home to my home country and sister country, right, in the Caribbean. And my father would always say that he wants to make sure that I am an American, but not Americanized. Not to be derogatory or negative in any fashion, but what he realized and the thought process was we had to be a little bit different. And then coming here to the United States with the thought process says it's mentality and history of slavery and so forth. He said to me that the pigment of your skin is your first flaw here in the U.S. So he taught me to make sure that I spoke as eloquently as possible by me reading the dictionary in 10-word increments every week, and even to watch Saturday morning cartoons, Super Friends at 7 a.m. Now, with that being said, to go back to Japan, there's a thought process. There's one thought process. Yes, they were an empire at one time. Yes, they attacked the United States. Yes, I've served 17 years in the military, but here's the funny thing about it. At that particular moment in time, they attacked us. Yes, granted. It wasn't something that I think the U.S. was involved in. But Japan today is a very peaceful nation, and I think they've always been a peaceful people. They might have had the wrong influence at the time, but I love the thought of the beauty of the land, beauty of the people, especially the young Japanese. I met a lot of different people, men and women, car clubs, motorcycle clubs, different than the United States. Right. And there was something about it. It's like if when you think about something, and in the TV show, or you got that cloud that pops up over your head when you have an idea that goes boop, and you have that, you know what I mean? And then it shows you. That's how it was, like a dream.
Wow.
But the people were very polite. They're kind. Just crazy. Even if they didn't like Americans, it was like, you still said arigato ne. Hi, dozo, arigato ne.
Wow.
You were still friendly. You were still friendly. mushy, 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 mushy. I say hello.
Right.
I say thank you. Hai dozo arigato ne. I mean, thank you. I mean,
You're
I used to
very
know a
fluent,
little.
my friend. Very fluent. Holy hell.
Well. I mean, I knew a little bit more back in the day. I at least had some small conversational Japanese because he had to communicate.
Right.
I mean, but it was something about that culture, and it's because everyone's of the same thought process. Here in the United States, we are a conglomerate of different thought processes, and which is a good thing. But at the same token, the negative is it causes a lot of chaos and mayhem.
Of course.
And it's not until we have an enemy that comes across us that we come together. Today, I'm not too sure. I'm beginning to doubt that just because of the events of the last few years.
Right.
The voices that have been silent for many years have been uprising, so to speak. But there's something about Japan, man. I mean, listen, man, when you go to Japan or you go to Korea or you go to Malaysia or you go to Singapore and they got better shit than we got in Chicago,
of course.
I mean, come on now. Something's not right. I mean, how is all these people got bullet trains, got hotels on 100-foot story buildings,
yes,
and we still nickel and diamond with stuff. I mean, look at Chicago, man. With Cabrini Green gone,
right,
and we still have places on the south side of Chicago with deserts.
Yes,
that's a whole different conversation. Now I'm kind of thinking of somebody else, but yeah, to answer your question, Japan is probably the number one place. Korea is on point, man. I mean, they do some crazy stuff. They change stuff faster. Oh, it's probably more madness now. I need to go to Korea again. But back in the day, Korea was on point back then. But I met so many friendly people. And not to say that Japan is the only friendly nation on this planet. I've been to a lot of different places, fortunately, where I've met a lot of friendly people that are just different than the United States of America. That's all.
I can't even argue that fact with you. And again, it's not saying I've never met friendly people in the States or anything like that. But and I want to make sure I point this out to you. I want to thank you personally because I don't even know if you remember this conversation we had way back. But I was sitting here just kind of spinning my reels just a little bit, and I don't think I've talked about this on the show, but when my father passed, and I was just kind of in a funk, and I was just like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I should do, and me and you had a conversation of just like, look, you haven't been anywhere, you haven't done anything, go somewhere, do something, and I immediately that night I went home and I booked a cruise, the first vacation with me and my girlfriend. We've been together at that point in 10 years. And we had never gone anywhere together, and it was ridiculous. So I want to personally thank you for getting me off my ass and actually getting away for once. I
guess what?
Appreciate
just to let you know, here's you're married. Just letting you know.
You're never gonna let me live that down.
But here's the thing. Think about this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 10 years.
Right.
Whether you've had ups or downs, today. Right now, today, can you say that you love her?
Of course.
That you can see another 10 years down the road.
Easily. That's not even a question.
Marriage. Yes. But guess what? That's a marriage. By definition, in the dictionary. It's not a marriage because Jesus Christ said that. Here's the thing. A lot of laws that say that two human beings must intertwine in the eyes of God. That's what it is. I mean, yes, there's civil unions. That didn't come and get approved when? What, in the 70s, 80s, and civil unions and all? No, listen, man. Marriage is just a word. The question is there commitment? Is there continuity? Is there a love? Is there a relationship? Is there a partnership? Because that is what it boils down to. Because when we use the word marriage now, and some people get butterflies, some people get a little stomach ache. So the question is, which one is it for you? Listen, the gold will melt and the paper will burn if the house burns down. The question you have to ask yourself and your significant other is, what do you have after? And if it can survive, then you're good.
Yeah. And I will say
it's just a word.
Yeah, no, wholeheartedly. And I think we've said that even to each other multiple times. We ain't going
Yes,
nowhere,
sir.
so it is what it
Nope,
is at this
nope.
point. Like I
So,
think
hey, can you swim now? Can you swim? Can you swim?
no, I cannot swim. I still cannot swim, which I wanted
I gotta teach you.
So, and I told the story, but we went to go meet dolphins personally, and even though she's
Uh-huh.
been with aquatic animals multiple times, but
Mhm.
this is my first time being in the water with dolphins, and I told you, I panicked so damn hard because there was
Really?
just a cliff that we were standing on, and after that cliff, it was
Whoa!
nothing. And they said,
Wow!
"Oh, just go out there and touch him, rub on the dolphin." And I sat there and panicked and clammed up so badly that Kelly had to grab me by my life vest and said, "Don't worry about it, I got you. You're not going anywhere."
Now look at that. She grabbed you, and look at that. Now, if that's not love, I don't know what to tell you.
It's a mix
Okay?
of love, and she knew that I was stupid because it was me, her,
No,
and this.
no.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it was me, her, and this gay couple that went to meet the dolphin,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew that
Yeah.
I would have been in my own head if one of these gay dudes had to save me. So she was like, "Look, let me help him
Oh, that's
first."
fine. That's 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 so funny. Listen. First thing, if you don't mind, let me tell you, no, don't ever call yourself stupid, because they say there's a phrase that if you think it and you speak it, it comes to pass. No, you had a moment, you might have had a fear, but guess what? Whether it was, whether it was a girl or the gay dude or the gay girl or Jesus Christ himself that decided to pull you out of the water and make you walk on it, it doesn't matter. But because you're human,
Right.
and that's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes you beautiful. And as long as you understand that, I think, what, one of the things that we get as kids, what we don't realize is sometimes parents say words to us,
Mm-hmm.
and we take that, and sometimes in our subliminal, it hits us, and sometimes they do shit or don't do shit, and we're like, well, we get something from them by either or action, whether they do something or they don't. But so my premise is, not to say I get you're using that as a descriptor, but don't ever say that. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Listen, you had a wonderful time. Don't ever say that was a stupid moment. This was an experience for you, and that's a good experience, because guess what? The next time you do it, I bet you ride that damn dolphin. You'd be like, yo, can I ride it?
I watched a couple kids do it. I seen how fast them damn dolphins move. I'm going to hold off for a couple more visits.
But and you know why? And you know why those kids do it? The
What's
kids
that?
do it because guess what? They have no fear.
No.
And they only get that fear because either what they did not get from their parents. I mean, I'm going deep here, but you'd be surprised, man. Kids don't know nothing until they're taught.
That's very true. No, it's 100% true. I don't know if
Good point, mine.
I'm pretty sure my fear is taught somehow. I know I've had traumatic experiences with water, so maybe that's what it is. And you know what it is? It is what it is. I understand it though, and my understanding is stay your ass out of a certain deep end of the water. If I can walk in it, I'm safe. If I gotta swim, I'm gonna think about it before I step a little closer into it. That's all.
Yes. I tell you, and for your listeners out there, it's not a black thing. Trust me.
No, because again, I've had people on the show that they're like, "Yeah, no, you're the only one that can't swim." I think at this point, and it's funny because I have the height. I have height. I'm just terrified to swim. I don't know what it is.
Listen, if 9, 10 times is a fear that causes us an issue. You know why people drown most of the time?
What's that?
Because of fear. They panic.
Yes.
And it's very difficult. You can't train somebody not to do it. Well, you can, but 9, 10 times people get hurt because they panic.
Right.
And if you just take it easy, listen, holding your breath, being underwater ain't no different than holding your breath when you're above water. It's just, but I get it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that was a great experience. I bet you, your bottom dollar that the next time you go out there, you'd be like, yo, I'm jumping in first.
You know what? Honestly, yeah, I can't say that I wouldn't be, twice as excited to do it. And I mean, we've already discussed going back. Like, it's that serious. Good. That's why, again, I want to thank you for it, because we're like, we're doing this multiple times. Especially being out in Mexico. couldn't believe how beautiful it was, how nice the people were, and I'm just like, this
Yeah.
is wonderful. Why don't
What,
more people enjoy
what,
this?
where in Mexico were you at?
So it's two resort areas. It was Cozumel and Costa Maya.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. I've been to
So
Cozumel a long time ago when I was a young Marine. But yeah, I mean it's probably changed now, but yeah, back then, back in the '80s, early '80s, it was yeah, it was a nice place too.
yeah, no,
It was
Cozumel
nice.
was very nice, very nice. I will say this: people slightly pushy when it comes to selling your stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
kid you not, this dude had us drunk at 9:30 in the morning. He gave us 8 shots of tequila. And I'm like, oh, look, I ain't even ate breakfast yet, man. Like, chill out. Like, we'll buy some of
Oh
your
snap,
shit. Just leave me alone. Like that.
that's hilarious.
And you know me, I don't even drink that heavily. But
Right.
I downed a couple shots of tequila at 9:30 in the morning. I was like, well, we out here partying, so it's gonna be one.
Well, if you didn't hair on your chest, you grew some hair, didn't
Oh yeah, I got 2 extra.
like, bing, bing. You're like, damn, I got 2 follicles.
But
Oh,
it was
snap, that's
very fun. And you
hilarious.
know what? I'd never drank tequila before. First time I've ever drank it, and it's very good. Very good
Yeah,
stuff.
just don't make it a habit, because I'm gonna tell you, you make it a habit, buddy. You dance with the devil after that. Trust me, I know. Yeah, I mean,
And
shoot.
I got to get you the name of it. I know Kelly remembers it, but it was a dark colored, and I want to say it was like a hazelnut flavored tequila. And I was
That's
so
even
tempted
worse.
to buy a bottle and bring it back, but
Oh, yeah, that's the worst when you get an alcoholic beverage that has a little flavor, and when
mm-hmm,
it touches your tongue, you're like, that tastes pretty good. Then
mm-hmm,
you're done.
yeah.
You're done. Yeah, you got to go to confession after that, buddy. It's
Yeah.
like, Father, it was yesterday. It was my last confession. What did you confession? I drank some hazelnut shit, and I don't know what to do next.
I said, I
Shit.
give him all the props in the world. He loosened me up. He got into my wallet. I bought some garbage that
That's
I didn't need,
good.
but it was, again, it was like you said, an experience. I don't regret a
Uh,
moment of anything. It was all
Outstanding.
wonderful. Every bit of it was wonderful.
That's the most important thing. That's great.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to hear. As long as you had a great time
And
and you had a memorable moment, that when
yes.
in your old age, before you close your eyes, man, you're gonna reminisce about that moment in time.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it's something
For
serious, man.
sure, for sure, for sure. And I promise tomorrow. I know I sound like an old man, but I say that I know we're talking about so many different things, but the reason I say that is when you have good moments like that, because I've met a lot of friends that are not here within the age group of 18, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and even in my 50s, whether it be they died in a wartime situation, or they died by their own hand, or by somebody else. And I'm very fortunate to be at the age that I'm at, to have seen a lot of stuff and reminisce and have some good times. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. And the Lord, or whomever you believe in, whether it's concrete Jesus or air Jesus, however you want to put it, I'm just putting the word out there. Even if you don't believe, when that time comes, these are the moments that you're going to remember the most. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I think that's a big thing in my life, especially like I said, after, losing my father. It's one of those things where it's just like it was a long stretch, and you knew about the situation for years.
Yeah,
It's been a long
yeah,
stretch of me,
yeah.
just dealing with the motions of it. And
Yep.
not that I've lost some of my childhood, but I was so hyper focused on being an adult at a young age
Mm-hmm.
that I missed out on a lot. And I never
You
wanted
didn't
to
have a
feel like
choice.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah, you
it's,
didn't have a choice, man. You had to grow up.
yeah.
You had to grow up quick. I mean, if I remember you telling me, I mean, you taking care of stuff.
Yeah.
You had to be an adult as soon as you came out of the womb, pretty much.
Honestly, man.
You know.
I said
So
I joke
you
and tell
know,
people that, but I mean I was at the age of 5 with court cases, man. Like I was going to court at 5 years old. Your boy was running some
hmm
shit.
yes. And see, and here's the funny thing about that. I'm going to tell you, for you to be where you're at today, in your own skin and the life that you're leading. I'm not talking about job or anything like that. That is what they call tenacity, tenaciousness, an ardent desire. So this is my infamous phrase that I got from a family member, and it's a perfect phrase: an ardent desire to succeed. You have endured, man, some crazy shit. Do you know any people out there that have gone through something similar, and they're not here today. They've gone down the road or the wrong path. Let me clarify. The path that may not make them successful, because even the wrong path may not be the wrong path for us. It might be the right path for them. But with that, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Hold on one second. I gotta move. But yeah, that's it, man. So, but that's admirable, man. It takes a lot of strength to do and be who you are. So I admire you.
No, and I trust me, I appreciate it, because you're one of the few people who've always made me remember that much. Because I know a lot of people always say you don't give yourself enough credit for what you've done in life, and I probably never will. I never will. It's just gonna be one of those things that I just don't cope with. But I do enjoy the fact that I try as much as I can to do whatever I can. If it's putting a little more effort in at work, or putting a little more effort in at home, or just doing stuff like this where it's, to some people, a pipe dream, but to me it's something I want to do. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy having conversations. So I said, to hell with it. I'm starting a podcast, and if it becomes a big thing, great. If it doesn't, whatever, man. I'm still having fun. And
right. So let me ask you this.
What's
not to cross you there, but you said the word try.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every time you tried something, you did it, didn't you?
Of course.
Most people that try don't do anything.
Yeah, so, and I've definitely, in the course of my life, learned that. Yeah, I've definitely learned that.
I want you to try your best and stop saying try, because people that try do not do. You have done, and you're still doing. That is that. But by you saying try, it's because you're maintaining humility, and you're a very humble but strong individual. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that, man. And thanks for hitting me with
no problem.
You know what? That's the first time I've heard a Yoda quote, and it sounds so profane. It's do or do not. There is no try. I love it. And you just made it sound so much better.
Yeah, because when people say, "Oh, I'm trying," they ain't doing it.
Right.
They ain't doing shit. They're like, "Oh, I'm trying." What are you trying to do? You don't try to take a shit. You just do it. Okay. People trying to take a shit. They just went in there to get some quiet and peace and quiet. That's what they try to do. No, listen. Don't tell me about try. You're going to do, because here's the thing. If you use that terminology, it's because we have a similarity, and that similarity is we want to maintain and express humility towards other people, and that's how we tell people that we're humble, by saying certain words, and that would be one of those words. Hopefully, human beings pick up on it. Some people do, some people don't, but you do, man. You're a doer. Some people don't recognize it. Some people will never recognize it.
Yeah.
They look at you a certain way because they want you to be at a certain level that they are. But that means that their thought process is not expansive enough. They don't see the quality and the gifts that you can bring to the table because they want you to be a certain way. And guess what? No. If you're not accepting of who I am and what I can bring to the table, then that's a problem. There's nothing worse than to have somebody try to make you other than what you are. Because as far as I'm concerned, and as long as I've known you, you have done some things that a lot of simple people cannot do and get done. And, if you can't do the little shit, that means you can't do the big shit. And sometimes there are people outside of your atmosphere looking at you. They look over the little stuff. Now, little stuff is a big deal, because if that little stuff couldn't get done, dude, it'd be a big fucking deal. So, excuse my friend. It'd be a big deal. It would be a big deal.
No.
So,
and
I appreciate you.
Again, thank you so much for the profound words, man. And again, you ain't sugarcoating nothing. A few of us who are listening right now know of a certain warehouse that doesn't appreciate a certain set of skills that I own. But
ding dong.
And it's okay. You know what? I've come to live with it now, especially now, because it's now hit a peak where, and I've said this I think I've said this here before. I've been in a place at work where I've watched generations of people come and go. And I don't think that's something that most people can say, that you've watched generations of team members come and go over and over again. Yep. You've made new friends and left.
I'm prime suspect number one.
True.
Two.
I get it.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
I I got on the demon, got off, got back on the demon, got off.
But you,
I was like, why am I paying for a ticket to this amusement park? Boom, got on the demon, got off. I don't know. But I was always hoping for a different experience on that ride.
True.
And what I realized, the ride doesn't change.
Yeah. And that's something I kind of want to make sure that all of my listeners understand. It's you can't fix outside forces, man. All you can really do
No.
is change who you
Fix
are and how
yourself.
you work on
Yeah,
yourself, and your surroundings typically fix themselves either way it goes.
absolutely. That's
So,
it. That's all you can do.
and I think that's
Yeah,
something that I've been truly working on over time. And I
me
think
too.
I've gotten to a place now where I feel like if my surroundings burn, I'm gonna be fine. You know, I will
Yep,
maintain. I will push through whatever fires are burning around me because I
for sure.
have the skill to do so. I have the perseverance to do so, and I want
For
other
sure.
people to feel that way. Like I don't think anybody should feel like they're, you know, they owe anybody anything, or they feel like they have to work or do certain things to support their
Right,
surroundings. It's not necessary, man.
right, right. I'm
Because
with you. I'm
at
with
the end of the day, when, like anything or any job or anything like that, when they don't need you, you're gone.
you. Yep,
But when they need you, oh, they will do everything in the slightest to coax you into doing what they need to do without telling you that they need you. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know. It's a very interesting animal. I mean, that's why all you can do is kind of look at the sky and see how fragile we are. And you know what? Puts in perspective uh, for me is, um, how fragile the human body and the mind is.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives me comfort. I know this is sound kind of weird, but even in the midst of this, turmoil or inconsistent, whatever you want to use as an adjective, what puts in perspective is that if you're alive, I've seen some things, I've survived some things, and that's what keeps me going more than anything else. I've seen life, I've seen death, and I pray to God that for me, I mean, I'm not a church-going fella. I grew up as a Catholic and Christian, but I have a conversation with God, man. This is for me personally, and He'll get me through. And as long as you do for yourself, things will happen. But positive mental attitude is the key. Even if you're not a religious person, let's go non-religious for a minute. PMA, positive mental attitude. As long as you have that, no one's gonna break you, bro.
Love it, man. And you know what? I think that's a great way to end this episode, man. And I think that's
All
going to
right.
be the title of this episode, PMA, man. It was going to be another
Mm-hmm.
therapy session, but you know what? I
Yep.
love the idea of PMA, and
Yeah.
we're going to
Just
go
make
on.
sure that just clarify. It's not PMS. It's
Yeah,
PMA.
exactly. No, trust me. After the last few episodes with my last guest, and how he went off on his relationship, you know what? I don't think we
Yeah.
need any more PMS or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
But you know
I'm
what?
with you.
I will say this. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's been great having you on, finally. We will make this a reoccurring thing by any means necessary.
All right.
Because you know what? I think after my ranting and raving that I typically do on this show, and the few guests that I've had over the time that will just pretty much co-sign and never give me the alternative, it's a nice breath of fresh air to hear somebody who's got some sense about themselves, some wisdom.
Thank God. Hey, let me by way of telling you the reason why I'm the Tasmanian Devil, and a lot of people know this, but
Yes, no, we need to know.
it used to be, like I said, it was a mascot of mine in the military when I was in Japan, the thing about the Tasmanian Devil, it's extinct. It's an Australian type dog animal, but it's extinct since 1930s, maybe 38, 39, I think it is. So I always find myself as an anomaly, something that doesn't exist. And that's why I say what I say and do what I say, because my thought process, a lot of people just don't have it. There are people out there, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But that's a small number. And, So I take pride in something that doesn't exist, that has a voice louder than most. And I will stick to my guns, and honesty is the best policy with positive mental attitude. And I'll end it at that.
I love that. That is the greatest. You know what? I'm gonna say that's probably the next best backstory I've ever heard to a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You know what? And I'm gonna put a friend of mine up to it. If we can create you a new T-shirt,
okay,
just for you with a cool Tasmanian Devil look to it, I will definitely do that for you. I will definitely.
All right, make sure it's Looney Tunes Tasmanian.
I will try my best without getting sued.
Okay. Right. Okay. You can put my face on it if you want to. It's fine.
You know what? That would be pretty cool, actually.
All you gotta do is put my face on it, and you'll be good to go.
You know what? We're gonna figure something out, man. Because, like I said, people love shirts. I love my shirts. I love all the merchandise that I've been selling over time. So, I mean, if I can come up with some new stuff and spread it with the world, and everybody gets it, and obviously I always share with people who help me come up with the idea. So, by all means, you're gonna get a kickback of some shirt sales if I got to.
Okay.
Hey, look, man. Like I said, I always tell people I do the show for fun. Whatever comes back to me gets either put back into the show or put into the hands of people who've helped me get this far. You know, I didn't do this by myself. I appreciate everyone, and if people are listening, everyone who has helped me over time, I appreciate all the help, and that's why I do the things I do, and I try and give back as much as I possibly can. So
outstanding.
I can do the same for you, man.
That's outstanding, man. That's the way to be.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
All right, man. No worries.
All right, so we'll end the episode here. It's like I said, it's been fun. To the listeners, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all the social medias, like I said before. And if you want the Tasmanian Devil to come back, I need to hear you tell me you need him back. So shout it from the rooftops, comment, like the video, send me emails. You know the drill. Let him know that you want to hear more of him. If you have questions for him, all you have to do is send me an email. All you have to do is drop a comment below, and that'll be the next episode just like that, man. It's just that simple. So before you go, do you have a message for the world?
I'm going to say a word from the 90s. Word.
And that's
Hey, man, no. Hey, just be happy. Keep, positive thought process, and don't rush. Everything will come in its time. That's it. Just don't rush. Everything will come. Just be patient and have a clear thought process. That's it.
I love it, man. I really do love this. This is awesome. All right, so that'll be the episode. I'll catch you guys next time. That's been Nonsense with me, FM Bob, and my special guest, the Tasmanian Devil. We will catch you later on. That's how it works, right?
Peace and chicken grease.
Peace and chicken grease, my man.
All right.